Good afternoon folks, welcome back to the channel. Jen and I are out for a wee wander and we are looking for mushrooms. I'm hoping to find some hedgehogs, some winter chanterelles, and if I'm really lucky, some boletes, but I think that's quite unlikely. It's been a bit of a season for mushrooms, to be honest. But yeah, we might find nothing at all today, but we won't know unless we look. Before we begin, a disclaimer. I've been foraging mushrooms for over 6 years now, but I'd still consider myself a beginner. I play it safe. I go for the easily identifiable mushrooms, and though I dabble outside my comfort zone here and there, I am nowhere near as knowledgeable as many other foragers out there. So do not take this video as your sole reference when identifying mushrooms. It is in your best interest to cross-reference using multiple trusted sources. I will say it right now, though I haven't died yet, I do not consider myself a trusted source. But I will put links to said sources in the description. And rest assured, I won't ever share anything in a video that I am not 100% confident with. All that being said, this video is purely for entertainment value, and to hopefully spark some curiosity, to encourage you to do your own research in utilising wild food. So only about 20 yards into my walk and I've found my first mushroom. It was a hedgehog. It's not looking that great. So we won't be taking that one. She's not exactly in the best of nick. But we'll keep looking and hopefully there's a better quality one somewhere. So last year I found some chanterelles in this spot here and they're here again this year, which is usually the case with chanterelles. Most of these are trashed, like absolutely trashed. But if you look closely underneath the moss, can't really point very well, underneath the moss there are some very, very tiny ones. And in my opinion, the tiny ones taste better. So I'm going to take a wee handful of these and I'll probably have them for my lunch when I get back home. Chanterelles are one of the most utilised and probably one of the most well recognised mushrooms in the UK. They are yellow in colour and have irregular caps, which are flat when they're young but curl upward round the edge and depress in the centre as they age to form a sort of trumpet-like shape. Their flesh is white and they don't have gills. Rather they have forked folds which are decurrent, meaning they run down the stem. The chanterelle has some lookalikes. The false chanterelle, which is not deadly but can give you an upset stomach, and the winter chanterelle, which I hope to show you later in this video. When I said a wee handful, I really did mean a wee handful. Most of these chanterelles are wrecked, but these guys are in pretty good nick, and I'm kind of banking on finding some winter chanterelles today to beef out my lunch and to show you the difference. But yeah, this is what chanterelles look like. They're better to forage earlier in the year, to be honest. So this mushroom's a bit past it, but it's a happy find regardless, because this season has been for boletes. They came on really strong for like 2 weeks before I went to Colorado, and since then all my good spots have just been dead. So yeah, even though this mushroom is a bit squidgy and I'm not going to bother with it, I'm happy to see it because there might be more about, and I hope there is, because I do like a bolete. It didn't take me long to find hedgehogs. These mushrooms are delicious. They've got a nutty flavour and are best foraged between August and October. But you can find them later in the year, though as you can see they may not always be in the best condition. Now these mushrooms get their name from their spines. The hedgehogs do not have gills or pores. Rather they have hundreds of tiny little teeth that hang down underneath their caps. Their caps are lumpy and undulating, and they're often found in large fairy rings. It can look like someone sprayed little blobs of expanding foam all over the forest floor. In the common hedgehog, their caps are a creamy yellow colour. Their flesh is an off-white, and their spines can be light pink or white. Hedgehog mushrooms are pretty safe for beginners. There are 2 types to look out for. The common, which I am foraging today, and the terracotta hedgehog, which, as the name suggests, has a terracotta colour. Both are edible and both are awfully good. Though there are differences, they can be confused with the green foot tooth, which is rare but considered to be poisonous, and the jelly tooth, which is edible but jelly-like in texture, hence the name. It's awfully cold. They say it's going to snow tonight, and to be fair, it kind of looks like it might, but I'll believe it when I see it, because they always say it's going to snow and it never does. But here's hoping. I like a bit of snow. So these were winter chanterelles once upon a time, but yeah, and they're frozen solid. Yeah, so they're not really good for showing you anything, really. Well, we'll see if we can find some fresher ones before I talk more about these. I did not find any more winter chanterelles today. But just quickly, winter chanterelles are like an ugly version of your typical chanterelles. Brownish yellow in colour, similar to current forked folds but a bit more irregular, yellow-brown flesh, beautiful with garlic and a fried egg. Possible confusion the jelly baby, which is considered poisonous / inedible, but there are significant differences. So I've just found another edible mushroom, and believe it or not, these are edible mushrooms. These are amethyst deceivers, and they don't look like they should be edible, but they actually are. The amethyst deceiver is pretty tasteless, but it can add a nice bit of colour to a meal. However, if you are going to forage these, you really need to do your research, as older amethyst deceivers can be mistaken for the lilac fibre cap, which can be deadly. My plan for next year is to make a lot more foraging videos, so we'll talk about this in more detail at a later date. I foraged this area last year in mid-October, and the ground was lifting with mushrooms. Hedgehogs, winter chanterelles and amethyst deceivers, everywhere you looked. I'm a bit late this year, and most of the mushrooms here are past their best. But there are a few diamonds left amongst the rough. Well, they're not exactly diamonds, but they'll do. I would have gone foraging earlier, but I had no need to. I have a stash of dehydrated hedgehogs that I haven't finished from last season, so there was no need to forage more for the pantry. I'm only out today because I fancied a small handful of fresh ones, and I enjoy this. Foraging is a very peaceful task. It's slow, it's meandering. It requires enough concentration that you don't think about anything else, but not enough for it to be taxing on the mind. It's easy to lose track of time, and at this time of year, before you know it, you've lost the daylight too. We're starting to lose the light now, so I'm going to head home. I didn't find any good boletes, I didn't find any good winter chanterelles, but I do have enough scabby hedgehogs to make what I want to make. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of liquefied food. I like to chew, but every so often, around this time of year, I get a hankering for soup. I collect my ingredients, make a nice big pot of it, enjoy the first few bowls thoroughly, then get bored of it and begrudgingly have to eat soup for the rest of the week because I made too much. It's a winter tradition, one that I'm going to indulge in now. So we've got our hedgehogs, plus some extra ones from a dried stash, as well as some chanterelles, and we're going to pair that up with some chestnuts that I need to use up, a hefty butternut squash, this chunky sweet potato, one big brown onion, but this one's not very big, so I'll probably put some shallots in, a whole bulb of garlic because I am indeed that way inclined, and some seasoning because I can't stand bland food. So to deepen the flavour, I'm roasting all of the veggies first, chucking in some cloves and some red devil chilies, and all the juice that comes off them will end up being my stock for the soup. Towards the end, I'll put in the hedgehogs to let them cook through, but if I put them in now, they'll just turn to mush. Once it's all done roasting, I'll blend it all up together and then put it on the stove, and yeah, then leave it, because soup's never good the first day. It's always better the second, and even better the third. Same with stew and curry. The brown powder that I'm adding here is chaga. Soups, stews and curries are a good way of getting medicinal mushrooms into your diet. Though chaga doesn't do a whole lot for the flavour, it does a lot for your health. It is said to improve immunity, lower cholesterol and blood sugar, and help with arthritis. And though that's not something I have yet, I reckon it's only a few decades before it comes for me. Medicinal mushrooms are a fascinating subject, one I have only scratched the surface of personally, but I'll put further reading below for those who are interested. This soup is awfully good. I'm not sick of it yet, but I've probably got about 5 bowls left, so give me a few more days and I'll be cursing it. With the hedgehogs and the chestnuts, it's got a strong nutty flavour. Sweetened and made creamy by the sweet potato and the squash, but balanced with the chilli and garlic. It's braw. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I done good. I've been serving it with some Cholula drizzled on top, and more garlic, cause I've clearly got a problem. But the extra kick of the hot sauce and the chilies in it makes this a true winter warmer. And yeah, after fannying around filming all that, I did have to reheat it in order to actually eat it. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.